I'm now going to invite to stage quite a cool human. I kid you not, I'm meeting him for the first time on stage. We're meeting now for the first time. We have had phone calls though, so I'm quite excited to meet him. And he's known as Ethiopia's wellness pioneer. We'll be talking about bridging tradition and innovation. Please help me warmly welcome to stage Tadiwos, Belete, CEO and owner of Kuriftu Resorts. I'm so excited.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you traveled well as well.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone.
So let's jump right into it because we were speaking about wellness just now. Why do they call you Ethiopia's wellness pioneer?
Wow. I think I started the first wellness center in Addis Ababa.
Are you able to hear him?
No?
Can you all hear him? Okay, yeah. Great.
Maybe I was the first one to start a wellness center in Ethiopia 22 years ago. Wow. It's one of the biggest spa. And we have about 200 some employees in it today. When we serve up to 200 to 300 customers a day.
200 to 300 a day?
A day, yeah. Yeah.
I know when I was speaking to you, and when we had some time on the phone, branding was a big deal for you. But I'm gonna touch on some of the conversations so we can bring it in together. So on Tuesday, on this very stage, we're chatting about the pros and cons of franchising versus management agreements and what's beneficial for Africa. And as soon as, obviously, we need to break down these things and also what contracts entail. Sorry, I'm just picking up a conversation there. Just wanted to make sure. And what was interesting for me that I raised was the fact that as Africa, we need to start building our own brands that we can then franchise to the world. And so you saying that you started this 22 years ago, these are the very stories that we can become examples to the world. And I know that on the call you said to me, Africa needs its own brand, but you're already starting to do that. Do you want to touch a little bit and let's chat about that, about tradition meeting the new world and how Africa can then create its own brand within that?
I think it's time for Africa to have its own brand. We cannot, be under the shade of all the international brand. Africa has to. If I give you any example, I don't think we have one brand go across Africa yet.
Yeah. You mean in hotels?
In the hotels, resorts and hotels. Even if in the Western world, we have nothing to showcase. Just an example, in America, there is not anything that represents Africa. So our company is envisioning to be a sole African brand, designed, built, and operated by Africans, supports the community that we are in, wherever we are building, in the last 22 years, we have, as a company, we have close to 3,000 employees. Major tourism developer in Ethiopia, and now in Uganda, as well as in Djibouti. What we do is when we design and hire a construction employees, then in the middle of the construction, we select who will be employed and trained in our company. So we give 100% opportunity for the less fortunate to provide a 5-star customer service. Mm. In terms of management, we hire every year fresh managers from school, and we train them for 2 years, and then they will go to their departments accordingly. So if we do that, and we are helping the community, we are introducing our brand to all over Africa. And it should be, people come to Africa to visit African hospitality and Africa in a whole. So we need to provide that. The latest the resort I developed in Addis Ababa, I just opened, we created an African village. We built 54 villas, each 163 square meter area. That interior is decorated according to the country. We want to promote every month different embassies take the month, and if in case South African month, we'll bring a South African chef. We'll have a business delegation coming to counterpart the other side. We'll select hotels to come from South Africa to promote their packages with Ethiopian Airlines to come visit your country. So we'll have a business delegation. So we like to see Africa connected. We have over 1.5 billion people in the continent, but no one ever promoted one to each other. So
I love these conversations because I learn a lot while I'm moderating, and I like to ask questions so that we can all learn together. You said when you started off by answering this question, we don't have one brand that goes across Africa. You then said even in America, we don't have a brand that represents Africa. And one of the things I really struggle with, I must be honest, is this concept of one Africa. And I struggle with it because I don't understand how we say one when we're so different. What I experience in Rwanda is not what I experience in Kenya, is not what I experience in Nigeria, is not what I experience in South Africa. And I struggle because I've never heard of a concept, one Europe. And so when we say we want to go across and we want to sell Africa, which part of the 54 becomes the brand when we're all so versatile?
All 54 of them. I did it. I have it. It's on the ground. We were working with each African ambassadors, with each African tourism board to, you can find Africa in one place without going any other. So if that can be replicated in every capital city of Africa, then we'll have a brand. I had a meeting, with the embassy of the United States the other day, and we were discussing how can we have one, spot in Washington D.C. to be as good as the Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons to represent Africa, because we don't have anything except that museum in Washington D.C. Nothing else to represent us. As a nation, as a continent, I think we should group and make this happen.
I'm going to ask you one more question, then we're going to go back to the topic in terms of bridging tradition and innovation. And it's because I saw this lady in the audience from Lesotho. And I think she asked a very valid question the other day, on Tuesday. When you are surrounded as Lesotho or Swaziland by a country like South Africa, you kind of don't get the same things that South Africa gets. And so in as much as you say all 54, it would still need to be feasible. So how do we give opportunity to those kind of countries? And she was really asking, how do we attract investment? How do we attract the branding? Because people go for the big guns, the South Africans, but Lesotho has something to offer.
I was just in Lesotho.
You were just in Lesotho. I love it. Yes.
Yeah, your prime minister came to Ethiopia and visited an African village. Yes. And
she's confirming.
And he invited me to come right after that, and I came. He took his personal chopper to show me around all the mountains, that beautiful lakes you have, and the amazing properties.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
So
it's possible. You give me such hope.
It means a lot that, he was so excited. He was so happy to see the village, and he was so happy to have Lesotho sweet, and he visited it, and he was so happy. Yeah?
I love that.
Yes, yeah.
And you told me something really cool on the phone. You said to me, you actually employ 70% women. That deserves a round of applause. And around. I was like, whoa. And they hold 95% retention rate. in this world, that's something worthy of a okay. And it's because you work with community.
Yes.
And perhaps that's exactly where we need to start thinking from a traditional perspective to say, let's go back to the basics and hire the communities where they live
The human
within the
touch.
space. The human touch. The human touch.
You know, when we first started, this is 22 or 23 years ago, we made a decision. Are we going to hire the so-called, graduates and this and that and experience? And person we say no, zero experience from the get-go.
Sure.
Yeah, zero experience. Someone who's hospitable to people. To recruit that person is the most key of the human capital work. And Africa is full of nice people. My mom,
I agree.
my mom will never have a breakfast unless she invited her neighbors.
Yeah.
My dad will not have a beer without inviting somebody else. We just need to polish that
Yeah.
and make it an international standard.
Yeah.
And we are there.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud to say that almost 3,000 employees are 95% retention because we involve the community, because we change lives, because we believe in them, and they are part of the construction, and they own it.
Yeah. I actually think the world has nice people. Africa has good people. Big difference. How do we start to merge the traditional and the innovation to help us as Africa?
Yeah, most of the tourists coming across the world to visit Africa is to really have the feel of Africa. Basic. The way you dress, the way we sing, the way we cook, the way our country. So that is should be 75% of the project mentally. Then you have you have to have a modern bed to sleep in, the comfortable bed with a good mattress. None of us have it, so we have to import those things.
Yeah.
Like you said, we don't have the best cutleries, so we have to import those.
No,
So
we do. We just don't use them. We keep them for visitors.
So when culture and modernity merges, then it becomes an international product. That anyone who walks in from any walk of life to that property, you will have a wow factor. You know, the struggle we have with my kids and me, and they say, we need to have someone speaking English to we have 5-star resorts. How do we welcome the customer? Write that in a letter and put it, or in the reception, brief them.
Right.
We are working with the community. They don't have the money to go to luxury school like you to speak English fluently. But if the customer understands...
Don't pinpoint me.
If the customer understands that, they'll be more than happy actually to support than...
That's it.
Yeah.
And we need to just be proud. I get the honor of traveling around the world, and I don't think we realize what goodness we have in Africa. I think because of social media and certain things, we're so wowed and stargazed on being international and global versus intracontinental. If I post I'm going to America, the number of people who clap hands versus if I say I'm going to Nigeria, even if it's a more impactful thing I'm doing in Nigeria, we're just not proud of ourselves. And I think it's something we need to just be so proud to sell as Africans ourselves. Do we have any questions? I can take one question. He's such a nice guy, guys. Ask him a question. One question. There we go. We've got a question here. That's the only one we'll take. And then we'll close off the session.
Yes, my name is Edwin from Uganda. I was just interested, you talked about your wellness center. And you said you employ over 200 people. Just wanted to dig in a little bit more of that. What exactly how is it different? How is it from a normal wellness center? Thank you.
He said he helps 200 to 300 people per day.
Yes.
I think because we are the first one to implement the facility itself didn't exist 22 years ago, and the program has everything in the wellness. We have the massage, the manicure, the pedicure, the facial, all the services are given there. More importantly, the employees, the 200 some employees are the people who actually built my building and construction. Once we are done with that, and we train them, I personally involved in the training area. So they are now, until now, they're still there, and they're serving, as I told you, hundreds of customers a day.
A round of applause, please, everyone, for Tadiwos. Thank you so much.